Hello, second grade. So earlier today we talked about vowels and consonants. Today we're going to talk, or in this lesson, we're going to talk about some different kinds of syllables. Right? So a syllable is a word or a chunk of a word that has one vowel and any consonants that go with that vowel. Right, so if you were at our school last year, you practiced finding syllables by putting your hand on your chin and saying a word, and however many times your chin went down, that would be how many syllables the words are. So let's see, why don't you practice that by putting your hand on your chin and saying your name. All right, so my first name is 3 syllables. So each time I said a syllable, my chin went down. And the reason that I wanted to remind us about syllables and what they are is we're going to talk about a certain kind of a syllable today. That is what we call a closed syllable. And that's what all of the words that we've been practicing writing are real and nonsense words. Those were all closed syllables. All right, so remember when we talked about vowels and how there's nothing blocking the sound? And then in consonants, there is something blocking the sound. All right, so our closed syllables are syllables that have a vowel and a consonant, at least one, it could be more than one, that come after the vowel in that syllable. So some nonsense, or let's see, I can't remember all of the different words that we were writing, but I was just filming some first grade lessons and they had this word. Right. So to know if a syllable is open or closed, we would look and see if it ends with a consonant or not. So this word, it's a word and it's also a syllable because it's just one syllable. We have words that are just one and then words that can be more syllables. This one is closed because after the vowel, there's a consonant. So that acts like the door and it comes in and it closes up the syllable. So if any syllable that ends with a consonant, we call that a closed syllable. So today we are going to be talking about closed syllables. Right. So in closed syllables, a single vowel says its blank sound. Right. So if we look at that word we just had, we know this phonogram has how many sounds? Good, it has 2. It says e. All right, in this word, let, it's saying its first sound, e. And whenever we have, or almost always when we have a closed syllable, a single vowel says its first sound. Right, so we're going to write first into our chart, and then we're going to do examples of some closed syllables to practice that. All right, so I'm going to write first in red because I think it's really important that we remember this. All right, in a closed syllable, a single vowel usually says its what sound? Good, its first sound. So we're going to write our vowels on the side here, and then we're going to do some examples of some words where we see that it's a closed syllable, and so our vowel is saying its first sound. All right, class, when we're going through our alphabet, what is our first vowel? And say all of the sounds of it for me. Good. A, ah. And since in a closed syllable, our single vowel usually says its first sound, what is this going to say when it's in a closed syllable? Good, it's going to say ah. All right, and you can just watch while I'm putting the vowels on. When we get to actually writing the words, then you can get out your practice paper and write the words with us. What is the next vowel that we come to when we're going through the alphabet and say all of its sounds? Good, next is e. So I'm going to write my e next on the line. All right. So since in a closed syllable, a single vowel usually says its first sound, what is this going to say usually when it is in a closed syllable? Right, it's going to say its first sound, which is eh. Excellent work. All right, what is the next vowel that we come to as we're going through our alphabet? And tell me all of its sounds. Good, it's I, E. So I'm going to put it right, my I-E right there. Okay. And what other vowel makes the same vowels, or what other phonogram makes the same vowel sounds as I-E? Good, it's ya, I-E. So we usually put these ones together when they're on our charts because they make the same vowel sounds. So that's what our little bracket reminds us of, is that these guys have the same vowel sounds. What's the next vowel when I'm going through my alphabet? Tell me all of its sounds. Good, ah, o, oo. So I'm going to put that one next. And what's my last vowel that I have not written up here yet? Good. U, oo, All right, so u, oo, in a closed syllable, it's going to say which sound? Right, is its first sound. Right? So we'll write this right here. All right, so let's go down our chart, and I want you to tell me, let's see, first tell me all of the sounds of this. Good, a, ah, and in a closed syllable, what would it say? Excellent, ah. All right, what are all the sounds of this? Excellent, e. And in a closed syllable, what would this say? Good, eh. What are all of the sounds of this one? Good, I, e. And in a closed syllable, what would it say? Very good, I. All right, this one, what are its vowel sounds? All right, good, I, e. This one is a little bit, let's see, maybe we should skip this one for right now because remember, this one is really special and it could be a vowel or a consonant. All right, so we'll go ahead and skip our ya, I-E for right now. All right, and because, sorry, the reason I want to skip that is because whether it's an open or it's a closed syllable or not would depend, or whether this is the vowel or not, right? It depends on the other letters in that syllable. So we're not going to talk about it by itself because it might be a vowel, it might be a consonant, depending on what other letters are in the syllable. Okay, sorry about that. What are all of the sounds of this phonogram? Good, ah, o, oo. And so in an open syllable, sorry, we're not talking about that yet. In a closed syllable, what would this say? Usually it would say ah, good. And what are the sounds of this phonogram? Good, u, oo. And in a closed syllable, what would it usually say? Excellent, it would say All right, so we are going to do examples of a few words that are closed syllables. And let's see, up here, I'm going to put VC, all right? That stands for a word that has a vowel, just a vowel, and then a consonant. We can have some words that are that short, and if it's a vowel and then a consonant, it's going to be a closed syllable because there's a consonant after that vowel. And then here I'm going to put vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant. So the V's and C's are standing for vowel and consonant because that's another kind of closed syllable that we can see is there's a consonant and a vowel, but then it ends with a consonant which comes in and makes that syllable closed, right? And then we could also have things like two consonants in the front or two vowels at the end. Those are all different kinds of closed syllables. All right, so for let's see, the first word that is, some of these we might need to do nonsense words because there might not be real words that are just a vowel and a consonant. But the first one I could think of that's a vowel and a consonant for this one is at. Class, what sounds do we hear in the word at? Good, it's a, t. All right, so write those sounds. Say them while you write them. All right, class, what do I need to write to spell at? Good, a and t. Excellent. All right, the next one I could think of for a, that has a consonant, a vowel, then a consonant, that's a real word, is cat. All right, class, what sounds do we hear in the word cat? Good, it's k, a, t. So go ahead and write those sounds and say them while you write them. All right, what do I need to write to spell cat? Good. All right, and let's do a word too where we have two consonants together, where that is still a closed syllable. All right, so let's write the word flat. Class, what sounds do we hear in the word flat? Good, it's f, l, a, t. All right, so go ahead and write those sounds on your paper, saying the sounds while you write them. All right, class, tell me what I need to write to spell flat. Good. O, excellent. A, and good. T. Okay, so we can see there's all different kinds of closed syllables that we could have, but all closed syllables end with a consonant, right? That's what makes it the closed syllable. And in a closed syllable, a single vowel usually says which sound? Excellent. It usually says its first sound. Let's see, we're going to have to finish this chart later on because this video is already about 15 minutes long. So it's good because this is important. So we'll come back and review it and we'll finish filling out our chart later.